Hello everyone and welcome. Every year we plant a garden, and one of the mainstays of that garden is potatoes. Through the years we've used the potatoes that have sprouted from underneath the sink, and we've used the seed potatoes you get from the big box stores and have had moderate success. So this year, in order to bolster our winter food stocks, especially with all that's going on in the world, I took and ordered certified seed potatoes. So today I'm going to show you how to plant those seed potatoes, and I'm also going to show you 13 weeks later the harvest of those certified seed potatoes to see if in fact they are better than just regular old seed potatoes. So here are my seed potatoes. I'm going to take and cut these around the eyes rather than just throwing the whole potato in there. I planted 24 feet of potatoes, and when I got to the end I just went back and put another set in each hole till I ran out, and I hate to do that, but I don't want them to go to waste. So here's my potato plants, and as you can see they've already flowered and started to die off, and as these were growing I took and added more dirt to them and put cages around them, then built them up, and they're about 2 feet under the ground, so I'm hoping that that'll help give us more potato yield. And I think I'm going to start on this plant right here because it seems like it's the one that's died off the most. As you can see, I had to put up some shade because my camera kept overheating, because it's 95 with a heat index of 104 today. So here's my first potato, and as you can see it's not quite ready to pick, but I am going to go ahead and pick all of them because this plant is infested with ants, and if I leave them in here they're going to eat the potatoes. So there's one potato, and I'm just going to keep going around until I get them all out. There's another one. Another nice sized potato. And there's the nicest one off that plant. That's a pretty good sized potato. Now I'm just going to move on to the next one. This plant right here has a bunch of them on it. There's one, two, there's a smaller one, so it makes number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. So here's what I got off harvesting those 2 plants. And there's about 3 pounds of potatoes right here, and I'm probably gonna wait another week to harvest the rest of my plants. It's a week later, and I'm gonna go ahead and harvest the rest of my potato plants. And I weighed the potatoes from the first 2 sets that I pulled, and there were 4 pounds of potatoes. So if I have 14 sets or mounds of potatoes, I should end up with about 28 pounds of potatoes. So let's harvest them and find out. So here's the potatoes as they were picked. And on an interesting note, the sets on this end and at the other end produced not only the most amount of potatoes, but the largest potatoes. I have to say overall that I am disappointed in the yield from these certified seed potatoes. And they were in the ground about 13 to 14 weeks. And I know people are going to say, well, you should have left them in there longer and this, that, and the other. But these plants were starting to get ants in them and cause damage to the potatoes themselves. And a damaged potato will not store well, so I had to go ahead and pick them. So now I'm going to take and gather them all up and weigh them and see how many pounds I ended up with. So here's my final tally on my potatoes. I've got about 25 pounds. Okay, so according to my fish scale, I ended up with 25 pounds of potatoes, and I planted 14 mounds. So 25 divided by 14, I ended up with 1 3/4 pounds per mound. Now I know that isn't spectacular, but it's still better than we've done in years past, and that's with just regular soil. We haven't added any fertilizer, nitrogen, Miracle Grow, or anything like that. And I have talked to people who are farmers, not gardenists, if you will, and they said that if you do add, nitrogen and stuff like that to the soil, and you start the potatoes off in the cooler part of the year instead of waiting till the traditional Good Friday to plant, that they will have a better yield and you will end up with larger potatoes. So that's something to try for next year. Now, I'm a fact and formula kind of person, so I do believe that the certified seed potatoes are better than just the regular seed potatoes you get, laid in a box in a big box store, because the potatoes that we did grow were more uniform, they looked healthy, and we did produce more potatoes than we normally do. So it really does pay to get the certified seed potatoes. So thank y'all for watching. We'll see y'all next time.